What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. I have a very special guest here tonight. If you don't know, it's SRTMUSH, aka Demon King. So what's up, buddy? How you been?
Good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm glad that we were able to get ourselves on the same feed for the first time in a little while. I always love chatting with you, so I figured I'd get you on the vlog.
Yeah, man.
So we're going to start off first before we get to the topic at hand. You guys probably see that SRTMUSH, also known as Todd, has got a really insane build behind him. So if you're wondering what it is, Todd, let us know. What's behind this?
This right here is, and I know this isn't the greatest because I'm on a laptop, so I'm just carrying it. But this is Josh, my tuner's car. We put a Kenny Bell 4.7 liter supercharger on it. It's almost done. Just a few small things left to do, and then finish tuning it. And there's not very many charger Hellcats out there with the Kenny Bell. There's a ton of Challengers, and then obviously some of the 6.4, 6.1 cars. You know, they've been putting the Kenny Bells on there for a long time, but the new 4.7 and 4.9 liters supercharger kit that they came out with, most of them are on Challenger. So I've actually only talked to one other guy with a Charger that has one. So there's been some little bit of struggles with it because the kit's really made for a Challenger and how it fits under the hood and all that stuff. But excited to get it finished, and we're going to try to get to some track rentals over the winter and see how it does. So it should be pretty sick. I think that blower will make up to about 30 PSI. So, and I completely lost your audio there. There you go.
It's that damn wire. I hate that wire.
Damn wires.
Yeah, I know, right? 30 PSI. My God,
Yeah.
We're probably talking about what, 14 horsepower if the engine takes it.
Yeah, I mean the engine definitely isn't gonna, or the transmission is, is underrated for what this blower can do for sure. So we'll probably, I think he wants to start out at about 23 PSI and just see how it does. So jiggle your cord there.
Oh, wait, hold on. It's crazy because this cable is doing fine for like every other application. It might do live feed. Hold on, I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. There, now it should be better. Okay, can you guys hear that better? Okay. So that should be good. Sound good, Todd?
Yeah, it's good right now. Yeah.
Okay. Said, damn, it's a $100 cable, $80 cable, and it's just like shorting out. It's not even old. It's like 6 months old, so I got to buy another one. So yeah, if you guys don't know, Todd SRTMUSH, one of the first guys on YouTube with a Demon, insane Demon, broke records. In fact, I think you were at a pretty big, battle with Hennessy, and you were like winning that war until you had an accident. So
Yeah.
How is the Demon, and are you ready to come back and destroy Demonology and Hennessy?
Well, Demonology, Herman, he runs his car for the most part stock. He's got some weight reduction and a 15-inch conversion, and he's not so much into setting records and all that stuff. He's a really sick, just badass grudge race, bracket racing. Like I don't know how many of the your viewers watch his videos, but most of his videos, he doesn't even he usually runs no time, and he's not even running times when they're running, because where he's at, just grudge racing is really big down there. So his thing is killing people at the tree, and he's really good at that. But if he were to get in to one of these cars, one of these Demons that is modded, I mean, he would be kicking some butt for sure. But I do want to get back out there and definitely, try to get the record back. And the thing about something like that is someone's always going to have more money than you. Hennessy is a huge company with lots of money behind them, unlimited money, really. So it's hard to compete on that aspect of it. But the cool thing about it was back in the fall or in the spring, back in April, you know, they had this, you know, $40,000-$50,000 package that they were offering for the Demon, and they ran a 9.3 something, and we ran a 931 for like $2,000 in parts, and, you know, did it ourselves. So that was kind of the excitement of it. It was like, here, you know, granted, not to really knock what they did with the car, because, you know, it's still a good feat, but here's what you can do, you know, for literally, you know, just a minute fraction of the price. So it's kind of like I don't know, it kind of turned into a David versus Goliath, and not by me, just a lot of the, you know, the viewers, you know, because right at the same time we were running, Hennessy was running, and so, you know, his car was making, you know, a lot of buzz and headlines about it, and everybody's like, oh, you need to take down Hennessy. So it kind of was turned into like a little bit of a David versus Goliath. And, you know, we took the record back, and then they ended up, it didn't last long. I had it for like a month, and then they made some changes to their setup. They were running a 4.5 liter Whipple, which is a pretty big difference from running the stock supercharger.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then, it was other than them with their Whipple, we had it all year up until about a month ago when Tim Barth was running a guy named Mark's car, set up pretty much the same exact as mine. He was running a 75 shot of nitrous, and he ran an 8.9. So up until then, we still had the, you know, the record outside of Hennessy's Whipple car. But once I get the car back, I do want to go out there and try. I don't think we'll be able to beat Speedcore, which, if you know, if anybody hasn't seen, they had the all carbon fiber Demon twin turbo. I think it made a little over 1,300 horsepower to the wheels, and it ran an 8.7 something. I don't know that I can beat that. You know, the amount of money that went into that build is insane. And
yeah,
you know, when it comes to dollar for dollar, I'm not gonna be able to compete with something like that. But as far as the rest of the average people out there that are out there running them, it would be cool to, you know, get out there and do that. And like Mark and Tim, you know, the guys who have the fastest one outside of that Speedcore car, you know, they're good friends. And, you know, I kept joking around with them, like, you know, the whole time they were testing theirs. Well, you're lucky I gave you a 6-month handicap. And so they're excited too, for me to get mine back and get out there and start doing it again. So.
Yeah, you had, if I'm not mistaken, you had the record, I think, when was it? Oh, shit, this time last year. I think it was October of 2017 or something like that. There was like no, it wasn't then. It was actually this past April.
Yeah, it was April.
Yeah, at Cecil, didn't you have a period of like maybe 3 weeks where you actually had the record? You had the fastest Demon in the world for that couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 weeks, and then Hennessy took it back. And when they first set the record, they didn't say what was done with the car. They just said, you know, world's fastest Demon with the Hennessy, whatever it was, 900 HPE 900 package or whatnot. And then they finally posted it online after they beat my record again, and it was a, you know, $45,000 package that you could get from them, and it was basically a Whipple 4.5 liter and headers and an exhaust. So, and then Tim ran Mark's car with the 8.9 last month. And then, of course, the Speedcore car ran last month as well. So
nice. Yeah, it's some pretty crazy builds going on. You know, when I get my Redeye and get my GTOS exhaust on, I think we need to link up and maybe you review my car and maybe I review yours, or we get together and maybe have a little race or some fun in Mexico or do something. I think it'd be a lot of fun to see how quick is the Redeye compared to a Demon on a highway, or how would that work out? I think we'd have some serious fun. I'm sure you'd want to see the Redeye anyway with a GTOS exhaust. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd be a cool comparison, especially did you order yours with the 309 rear or the 260 or 282 or whatever it is?
The 262. Yeah, I got those. I got mine basically set up like a Hellcat, but with a Demon engine. So it's going to be a good highway roller, but I'm going to build a lot of horsepower out of it, get as much out of it as I can. And you got the Hellcat superchargers 2.3 liter, I think 2.2 or 2.3. And the Demon and the Redeye have a 2.7. So in theory, I could be wrong, but based on just, you know, theory and mathematical, if a Hellcat makes 800 wheel horsepower on 93 pump with a 285 pulley, the Redeye should make like 830 plus on pump with the same pulley, just because the blower is bigger, more air. So I don't know exactly, but
yeah, you should make probably, because I mean the Redeye stock is basically 800 horsepower, which is what the Demon is on the non-race gas tune, on the 93 tune. So and the pulleys swap over from blower to blower, and you do, obviously, just because the blower is larger on the Demon, the same pulley is going to make, you know, more boost on it. So I think because the Hellcat runs around 11.5 pounds of boost stock. The Demon runs about 14.5 pounds of boost stock. So, you know, anything if you would have put a 285 on the Hellcat, you know, it's going to be that, you know, that same, you know, ratio higher on the Demon. So it'll definitely be, I mean, the Redeye is, for pretty much all realistic purposes, outside of the suspension and the 309 rear, which I almost would rather have the 262 rear, honestly. It's a Demon. You know, it's 100% a Demon that's just not tuned for race gas like the Demon was. But you can easily resolve that by having it retuned. So if they sell, which I hope they do, I hope they sell a ton of Redeyes. They're going to dominate because, you know, we ran a 9.3 in my car in April, you know, 3 months after, you know, taking delivery of it, with just literally a $250 pulley, injectors, and a tune. And granted, it's not going to have the suspension, and that does help a lot on the Demon, but there will be workarounds for that for, you know, people with Redeyes, and these Redeyes are going to be running mid nines to low nines for, you know, next to little cost. You know, it'll be real easy to get them to run, you know, mid nines all day long. And there's not a lot of cars out there that you can just buy and then spend $2,000 and run mid nines, and then, you know, have full weight, full interior, and just, you know, drive around the street and go to soccer practice or tote the kids around or whatever you got to do. So I think it's going to be a really popular car just because it's, I mean, the Hellcat is by far the greatest platform that they've come out with yet, as far as Dodge, and the Demon is just that much, you know, a couple notches up above that. Just even talking to you know, the guys at Speedcore, when they built their Demon, you know, obviously they made it all carbon fiber, and that shed quite a bit of weight, but, you know, stock block, stock transmission, stock rear end, even the stock wheels, and they're running 8.7s out of it, which is, you know, I mean, that's pretty insane. Stock suspension. They didn't even have to change anything on it. You know, they didn't have to go to any kind of high-end race suspension or any kind of trickery with it or beef anything up. They just literally ran it how it was. They put some more power in it and lightened it up. And I mean, so that says a lot, you know, to be able to run mid-8s on a, you know, on the factory chassis, basically, in components. So I think the Redeye is going to really, really just kind of set itself apart out there. And, you know, you never know what Ford's going to come out with or Chevy's going to come out with. And obviously the ZL1 and whatever GT500 or 350 or whatnot that's out, you know, they're great cars as well. But I don't know that you can take any of them and go run mid nines for $2,000 over, you know, the purchase price.
Right.
So, and, you know, the Hellcat motor and transmission they're pretty bulletproof. You know, there has been people that blew their transmissions or blew their motors. I mean, shit happens, right?
Yeah.
You know, parts fail, stuff gets tuned wrong, whatever. But there is literally tens of thousands of people that are out there, you know, cranking out anywhere from 800 to 1,200 horsepower in them. Maybe not tens of thousands, but thousands. You know, cranking out 800 of the wheels to 1,200 of the wheels and beating the shit out of them every day. And stock transmission's fine, stock motor's fine. Yep. So, and granted, the cars do weigh a lot, but how anybody could, you know, just talk trash about that? I mean, and given how much they weigh and how well they perform, I mean, I think it's awesome. You know?
Yeah, and the thing is that the Demon engine that's in the Redeye can handle more horsepower than the Hellcat. The Demon can handle like 1,500 wheels stock on the internals. So I have a little bit of fun plan that you might find pretty interesting. I plan to buy the Elephant Supercharger, which is a 3-liter. They're supposed to sell for around 16 to 18,000. Eventually, I want to get the Elephant Supercharger, drop it with a 275 pulley, and run 93 octane and a race tune. And by numbers, I should be able to get 900 wheel on pump, and I should be able to get 950 to 1,000 on you know, VP 110. That's a lot. You're talking like a mid to high 8-second car that really all you've done is swapped out the supercharger. So the potential is endless. And anybody who says, oh, these cars are heavy, what they don't understand is if a car is too light, it rides like crap. I have a Type R Integra that I sold that rides pretty damn good. But I tell you what, it's nowhere near as comfortable as the Hellcat is going down the highway 80 miles an hour on a 12-hour venture. So I'll take the weight. I'll take the weight any day. And you know, with that being said, with Dodge, Dodge has done such a great job that the title of this video is the GT500 has been delayed. So I want to get your thoughts on this. I have some guys that email me from time to time, letting me know what they think or what they see in Detroit. Sometimes it's 100% accurate. Other times it's not accurate at all. And then other times we don't know. Supposedly, from what they're saying, is the GT500 got leaked last year. Potentially being a 2019, but then later being confirmed as a 2020 model. What Dodge did is 4 months later, in July or August, they teased the Redeye, and immediately after that, he's saying there's a lot of turmoil over there in Detroit at Ford, that they are now at the point where they want to put the GT500 to 2021 because 772 horsepower they knew would crush the Hellcat because it's 80 more horsepower, 100 to 200 pounds lighter, and more focused on the track. When the Redeye came out and they saw that the potential numbers were going to put it in the 10s, they realized 772 wasn't enough. So now there's been new teasers lately that have leaked out that have shown it might have closer to 800. And now Ford's pretty much thrown the towel in and delayed another year because they don't know what to do at this point because Dodge released the Elephant swap. So anybody who's got a Redeye or a Demon can just swap the Elephant in, and now they're making more power than the Ford's going to make at all, no matter what. So supposedly there's a lot of chaos over at Ford right now, and they don't know what to do.
I believe it. I mean, and I'm, you know, I don't work or never have worked for, you know, an auto manufacturer, but I would have to think that they keep close eye on what each other are doing. And when you're dealing with something like the SRT line or the, you know, the Shelby line or the SVT line or, you know, whatever Chevy's performance division is called, you know, you're putting a car out. Of course, you have the Mustang. You know, the GT500 or the GT350 is a Ford Mustang, so they're going to make the Ford Mustang no matter what. They're going to make it with a 4-cylinder. They're going to make it with a 6-cylinder, maybe even a small V8. You know, low horsepower, 300, 400 horsepower, whatever. Same with the Charger and Challenger. They're going to make it in a. Well, I don't think we have any. Just the V6 and the 5.7 and the 100 different V8s that we now have. And then, so when they're coming out with something like the GT500 or the Redeye or the ZL1 or maybe the Z06 or ZR1 or the, you know, anything like that, those cars are coming out with the purpose of competing with the top cars from the, you know, the other brands. So I'm sure they pay attention. And, you know, Ford really kind of started, I think, the battle when they came out with the I think, when was it, 2013, when the GT500 went from whatever it was 540 horsepower, and they just out of nowhere, boom, 2013, the new GT500 was 665 horsepower or whatever it was, and everybody was like, holy shit. And even I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they just did that. And then after that, it was catch up for Chevy and Dodge to catch up to them. And, you know, they definitely have, you know, Chevy's, you know, took the ZL1 and the whole LSA platform up a notch. And then, you know, Dodge obviously, boom, came out with the Hellcat, and then now the, you know, Demon and Redeye and the Elephant. And I'm sure, and I don't even think, and I'm not real familiar with the Ford and Chevy performance divisions like I am with Mopar. And I know both of them have crate motors and stuff that you can buy, but I don't know if any of them, you know, are comparable, you know, making 1,000 horsepower just straight out of the box. They might, if they do, they're probably looking to, you know, see how they can, you know, beat the elephant, you know, and it's a different market for a crate motor like that from the performance divisions of the, you know, these automakers. But regardless, the Mustang's quite a bit lighter of a car. It's probably, you know, more nimble of a car. It's probably not as, you know, the Hellcat, Redeye, Demon, you know, its scope of what it was made for is pretty narrow, drag strip. I do think they would do well on road courses, given a few small tweaks and whatnot. But, you know, overall, something like a GT500 is probably going to be really good at the drag strip and really good on a road course and really good at autocross or something. Whereas something like the Redeye is going to be badass at the drag strip, decent at road course, and decent at autocross.
Right.
I think they're kind of two different cars, but since they're, you know, the top of the line domestic brand A versus top of the line domestic brand B versus top of the line domestic brand C, you always have, you know, the GT, the Shelby versus the SRT versus, you know, whatever Chevy's is, ZL1, you know, the ZL1 or SS.
Right.
So I mean, if I was Ford, you know, you have all your fans and enthusiasts out there just sitting there. Please beat the hell out of Dodge. Please take them down and shut all these redneck Dodge owners up. And then Dodge comes out with, here you go. You know, here's what we got for this year. And then they're probably like, oh shit, now what do we do? But either way, like I'm sure if they come out with a GT500 and it's not 800 horsepower, or if they come out with whatever their race engine or crate motor is, and it's not 1,000 horsepower like the Elephant, I think it'll still perform well just because the Mustang platform is lighter. It is a little more nimble. I think they're probably just trying to make sure that they come out with a big impact like Dodge did with the Demon and the Elephant. And, you know, you gotta admit, Dodge's marketing for that stuff is, you know, insane. They get the internet and the whole world buzzed up about it, you know, about the stuff that they're coming out with. Yeah. And, you know, when they started sneaking and teasing the GT500, I kind of started to see that online, but then it kind of, you know, fizzled out. And I think, you know, there were people who were saying, oh, you know, I'm going to order one of these. This is badass. This is badass. But then I think it kind of fizzled out pretty quick because it just didn't have that punch to your face, you know, jump from generation 3 or 4, whatever the hell they're on, to Gen 5. But I'm sure when it does come out, it'll be a badass car for sure. Yeah.
I think they're going to do good with it. If I'm going to guess, I'm thinking it's probably going to stay close to 772 like they wanted. It's probably not going to jump much. I think what they're doing now is rethinking the marketing strategy, maybe tuning the suspension more, maybe a little bit of a weight savings, a little bit better overall, maybe tweaking what the exterior looks like. Just trying to redefine the car a little more because of how much of an impact the Redeye is. Or maybe it's none of that. Maybe it's just simply, hey, we were going to release it for 2020, but in order to do that, we got to release it in 2019. We can no longer do that because the Redeye just came out. We don't want to compete for sales, so we're going to wait till the Redeye cools off a bit. Then we're gonna hit them with it right after Redeye cools down. So there's also that, but then there's something else, in my opinion, that's even bigger news. And that's with Chevy. I've gotten some word from the same guy a couple weeks back. I put it in a couple different videos. Chevy's up, or GM is up to something tricky themselves, and they did this in the past. The new ZL1 has 640 horsepower. The C6 or C7 Z06 has 650. They're 10 horsepower apart, but they're the same engine. They're the LT4, whereas the ZR1 is an LT5 engine, and it makes 755. Well, the ZL1 and the C7 Z06, even though they make 650 and 640, it's relatively the same engine as the 2012-13 ZR1. Few internals, a little bit different calibration. It's basically like comparing a Demon to a Redeye. They're almost the same. So What GM is supposedly doing, from what I'm hearing, is now that the Redeye is out and the GT500 is coming, they're dumping the LT5 into the new ZL1. So they just got a facelift, and if you follow Camaro, they got a facelift in 2014, I think it was, and a year later they got the ZL1. Well, the new facelift is for 2019, which 1 year later is 2020, right in time for the GT500 and all this other big stuff that Dodge is doing. So the rumor has it now that GM is going to release the LT5 for 2020 in the redefined facelifted ZL1, which is going to be basically a 755 horsepower Camaro. So we all saw how fast that Camaro was against Hellcats and how it was good at the track. Let's give it 115 more horsepower, and the weight's going to relatively stay the same. So we're going to have ourselves a really big war here between Ford, GM, and Dodge.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but I mean, it makes sense with you know how history has been for them. But you know, the ZL1, you know, the latest gen ZL1 is really, I mean, you know, I'm a Dodge fan no matter what, but the newest ZL1 is, especially the ZL1 1LE,
yeah,
or even just the SS 1LE. I mean, what they did with that car is pretty impressive. I mean, they took it and gave it the right amount of horsepower to where it performs pretty dang well on a track. I mean, it'll hang in there with a Hellcat, no problem. But then it also just, especially the 1LE, will just kill on the road course. I mean, they're a great performing, great handling, all around, good at kind of everything kind of car. Whereas if you think back to 10 years ago, or let's see, when the Camaro came back out in what, 2009, 10, somewhere around there?
Yeah, like I think 08, something like that. It was,
yeah, I think it was right after the Challenger came back out. But if you think back to then when they first came back out, or even the gen before that, I mean, they were just big, clunky, heavy, you know, maybe not as heavy as, you know, the LX platform, but I mean, they were a big, clunky, kind of underpowered, just kind of brick, just like, you know, the Magnums or the Chargers were back in 2006 or whatever. So they really did a great job of evolving from, you know, kind of just a high, you know, a high-ish horsepowered heavy brick to, you know, just a really good performance, all-around performance car. I mean, that SS or the ZL1 1LE, you know, I was really impressed by what they did with that car. And, you know, Ford, what they did with the GT350 being, you know, obviously track focused and not drag strip focused. And we, outside of the Viper, Dodge doesn't quite really have anything that falls into that category. And I'd really like for us to get something that does fall into that category, which will we ever? I don't know. But
yeah, it's a war zone here in America. I got the GT500 up there, and you could see that that's, I would say, probably 60 to 70% accurate, maybe, of what we're looking at for the GT500. And I think it looks good. In my opinion, it still looks like a Mustang. So to me, it's not better looking than a Challenger, but it's nice. You know, definitely not as nice as a Challenger. I do like the overall shape, and I like the fact they kept the 2015 look and not the 18. So much better, if you ask me, than the new one. I'm glad they did that. I do have another picture here I'm going to try to share. It's really, really hot picture. And this guy, I think, rendered it, but he said this is what it could look like, and they could be working on a wide body version. So let me see if this pops up. If I can get this shared to you guys. For some reason, it's not. I'll just share it on my phone because for some reason it's not popping up. But this is what it could look like.
That's pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, it could be. And if you notice, two different renders both have that spoiler in the back. So the GT500 is probably going to get the spoiler because a lot of people are rendering the same image over and over again. So that tells me that it's looking a little bit more promising. And this is Ford's official front shot. They actually leaked that and on purpose, intentionally leaked it. So we know the front is going to carry over the 2015 front end, which in my opinion is the better front end. A lot of people agree with me on that. And then another official Ford leak photo. So we got some consistency here. But if you want to know the truth, I think we very well could be looking at something like that. And that I would 100% consider buying that. I don't know about you, but I would think about that.
I mean, that's a good looking car for sure.
And now imagine it looking like that, having 772 horsepower and running 0.95 Gs on a skid pad and being able to still bust out a high 10, low 11, and it can still go around an autocross as fast as a Huracan. Can you imagine? That's a car I would buy. There's no doubt. Like,
and probably for under 70 grand.
Yeah, and you'd buy it, right? If someone said that Mustang was going to do 0.95 Gs and it would run within a tenth or two of a 720 on an auto course or an auto track, beat a ZL1, beat a Corvette, and at the drag strip it would beat a stock Hellcat, would you not consider buying something like that for 60 grand?
No, but I would suggest you do.
So it's not good enough for the Demon King, but it's good enough for just me.
No, I mean you definitely would have to put that in your cross shopping. If you weren't, diehard brand loyalist, which some people are, some people aren't. But if you're, that would be cross shot. That's probably going to be cross shot by a lot of people, whether they're looking at a Hellcat or a Camaro, or maybe even something different. Maybe a BMW 5 Series. If it is as track focused as, say, like the ZL1 1LE is, it might even be cross-shopped against some of those, European performance cars. And I'm not talking European performance cars like supercars, but, like the BMWs or the Mercedes, the M series or the AMG series that are, kind of the more realistic performance German or European cars. So, but yeah, I mean, that would, I think that car, when it actually comes out, I mean, and maybe that's part of their plan, is just to leak it, delay it, just to keep enough tension building that people are like, what the hell? So then when it, finally does pop out, they're like, oh, finally, here it is. We don't care that it's taken 6 years or whatever, but yeah, I think it'll make a big entrance when it comes in, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I dislike about brand loyalist, but like there's a difference between a brand loyalist and a fanboy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you get fanboys that'll say, hey, Ford's better than Dodge because Dodge are big boats and they can't handle that well. And then you get Dodge fanboys who say, oh, Mustang's crashing everything, they kill everybody. Then you get your GM fanboys who think the build quality of Dodge and the warranty's bad, and they think that Ford has no performance. So they all have their quirks about them. And the thing is that I'm not really a brand loyalist. I've got a GM. I had 3 Dodge. I had RT Durango, SRT Durango, got a Hellcat, got a Redeye coming. I've got the Duramax. I have the Type R Integra. Before that, I had GT500 that I traded in for the Hellcat. And I had a BMW 3 Series Turbo, a 500 all-wheel horsepower. And I had that when I traded in for my Durango only 2.5 years ago. So I'm more of an automotive loyalist. I love fast cars. I like to drive fast. I like to mod the shit out of them. I just love to have fun with them. I do prefer Dodge because it's the best bang for buck. And what I like to tell a lot of people is, they say BMW's build quality is fantastic, and they say that BMW's outhandle, Type R's outhandle, Dodge sucks. Well, I owned a Type R. I owned a BMW, and the quality of the Hellcat interior beats the BMW hands down, not even a question. The build quality of my Charger Hellcat is significantly better than my $70,000 BMW was. And my Hellcat handles almost as good, if not as good as my Type R Integra at double the weight and double the horsepower. So with that, I'll leave that there. I think that, in my opinion, I've probably owned like 40 cars and I've driven close to 200 or 300 cars that the Hellcat's got quality that almost can't be matched. It's unbelievable, the quality that Dodge has in these cars. And I can understand that, some guys that are our age, 30s or 40s, they can say, hey, you know what? Dodge is shit because they owned it 15 years ago and they went to another brand. Yeah, Dodge in the 2005, 2008, 9 range were junk, except for that 6.1. But the build quality, the interior, the cheap plastic, it was garbage.
Well, the 80s and 90s were a dark time for Dodge, for sure. Yeah. And Ram, or Jeep and Ram, like there's no doubting that. Like they from the 90s to when they came out with the 6.1, huge leap in quality and craftsmanship. And then from that gen until really the 2012, 13-ish or so, when they really stepped up and redesigned the interiors, huge difference. And that's what people don't get. Like, I've had plenty of people comment on my videos, Dodge sucks. My 1995 Ram was a piece of shit. It was all plastic inside. You're like, great, that was 20 years ago. Congratulations. Everything sucked 20 years ago. And people will see a picture on the internet of, the high, whatever, a Mercedes S550 AMG, a $250,000 car, and everything's wrapped in leather and fucking ebony and pearls. And it's like, they'll compare that to a Dodge Challenger SXT and say, look, Dodge's interior sucks. Look, it's got cloth seats and plastic everywhere. Look at this. Look at Mercedes or BMW. You're comparing a $150,000 car to a $25,000 car. Of course it's going to suck. Yep. If you compare an $80,000 Hellcat to an $80,000 BMW, you're probably going to get a better realistic idea of what the actual comparison is.
Yeah. Dodge stepped up their game. The thing is, Mercedes ruined them. And they basically gave Dodge the chassis, but wouldn't give them the suspension components, the setup, the tech, or the engines. And if anybody remembers the old Chrysler Crossfire, it had a 3-point-something V6 AMG supercharged engine. And that was the only car that Dodge ever really had that was spectacular. I mean, the Crossfires were nasty fast. You put a pulley and tune on them, and they were insane for what they were back in the day. There wasn't too much on the road that could handle them, and they were very quick. They handled well. They were nice and light and agile, nimble, very well car. The only car that Dodge ever released under Mercedes ownership that was a thoroughbred AMG with just a Chrysler badge, and it went to Chrysler.
100% a Mercedes car with a Chrysler badge. It literally was. I mean, slightly different bumpers and stuff, but I don't think they really changed much of anything at all from the Mercedes AMG version to the SRT6 version. Like, it's as close to as off the shelf, rename or whatever as you could get, but it was a great car.
Oh yeah, it was. And then, when Fiat took over in 2012, because it went from Daimler-Benz, then it went to Daimler Chrysler LLC, and then it was something else, and then it went to Fiat. When FCA became what they are in 2012, we got a Durango refresh, and then in 2014, we got another Durango refresh with the LED strips and the lights and the racetrack tail lighting. The Chargers got better. Like, literally within months of FCA, going under Fiat, we immediately took the brand from a 4 out of 10 to like a 9 out of 10. Like, we went from shit to being like awesome. Like, in months, it was a complete turnaround. And my eyes were just blown away. I was like, holy shit, look at this. So I went out and bought a Dodge Durango RT, which would have been back in like 16, because I wanted one for so long. And I tell you, bro, I was so impressed with the interior quality of that RT. I had red RT stitching in there, all black leather. I had the captain's chairs out back. I had the 5.7 with an intake and exhaust and tune, making over 400 horsepower. That SUV was so good. It was better than my BMW. I sold my Beamer and my Mustang, and for 2 months, I only had the Durango because it felt like I had a performance luxury car and an SUV all at the same time. It was that high quality, and I loved it so much that when they announced the SRT Durango, I had to have it for my YouTube channel because I just launched it and just got the Hellcat. And, I've been with Dodge since. I got the Durango RT, then it was the Hellcat that sold the Durango, then got the SRT Durango. Now it's the Redeye. I'll always have at least one of the Mopars because it's just, I don't know. I just feel like they've done such a great job. I'm in love with the cars. I mean, they're doing such a good job. I could never leave Dodge. I really couldn't.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, I'm very loyal to the brand, but not to the point of ignorance of what else is out there. I have people ask me all the time, like, what do you think about this car or this car or this car? I mean, every brand has at least one, if not 2 or 3 or 4 really badass cars that they offer, whether it's, Ford with the Ford GT or the GT350 or even the regular 5.0 Mustang. I mean, there's, some of those trims and specs are really nice, and overall it's a really good performing car. Or Chevy ZL1 or ZR1 or Z06, all badass cars.
Yep.
And even when you get into stuff like the trucks, like the Denali's really awesome. Obviously Rams have really stepped it up. If you haven't spent any time in the 19 Rams, it's like the difference between a 2006 Charger and a 2016 Charger Hellcat. They really stepped it up. And and AMG, Mercedes with their AMG cars, or BMW with their M series cars, or the Acura NSX, or whatever it is. Like, everybody's got really good cars, and they all have different qualities that are good or bad about them. You take something like the ZL1, great performing car, but I mean, to somebody it might not look good, or they may think the interior feels cheap, or the tech and the infotainment portion of it, and the widgets and gadgets and flare and flash that kind of stick out as from a user experience, very bland inside. So they all have their pros and cons, and to sit there and be ignorant or blind to the fact that these other things out there exist does make you a fanboy. And I don't think that's a good place to be, because you're either just doing it to troll, or you just are that ignorant and immature that you don't know how to, you just really don't have a concept of how to really research and analyze what's out there. And but like you said, we're in the middle of a war here with Dodge, Chevy, and Ford. And I mean, you hear these people, which obviously I wasn't, driving cars in the early 70s. And so I wasn't around for the original muscle car wars, or the pony car wars, or whatever you want to call it. So you hear these older guys talking about it, and it's the same thing again, only on roids. Because you're talking about 300 horsepower cars, or 250 horsepower cars, with bench seats and shit in them, and 3-speed transmissions, and they're like, "Oh yeah, man! I remember my friend had he had a brand new GTX. That thing went 115 miles an hour." You're like, "Ooh, 115? Oh, cool! Mine do, cars now do 115 in reverse." So it's like that again, but it's on like mega steroids, and with social media, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, whatever the hell else is out there. You just have this just nonstop, all day long, every day, all across the world, or at least all across the country, battle of this horsepower war, at least with the three main domestics. And it's pretty awesome, really, if you think about it, that doesn't matter what brand you like the most,
right?
That you can go out and buy a car right now with anywhere between 600 and 900 horsepower, factory with a warranty, that's going to perform pretty good in all aspects, and be able, pretty much run 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's a crazy time we live in, really, if you think about it.
It's unbelievable. Like, I never would have thought that we'd be in this position. I never thought it would be that good. And, Dodge has put it on the map. And like you said about fanboys, I totally agree with everything you said. I mean, I sat in the 2019 Laramie Longhorn, and it's the best interior of any truck or SUV I've ever sat in. Mm-hmm. The leather is like this wood grain, kind of brownish khaki, and it's got the little plaques, and the dash has got real, like, sealed wood grain that's made of real wood, and it's got that 12-inch U-connect, and it's just blows your mind. I'm doing a review on one next week. I think you just picked one up, didn't you?
Yeah, we got September. We got just a Laramie. The 2500 we had that we got rid of was the Laramie Longhorn. And it was nice. It was, it had 18 cows worth of leather inside of it. And
wow,
it's super nice. I'm just making up that number, but it was insane how much leather and wood was in there. But when we I guess downgraded to the 1500, even though it was, two steps down in trim from the Laramie Longhorn, because in the 1500s you got the Rebel, and you got the Limited, and you got the Laramie Longhorn. It's still, the interior is, I think, still nicer than our Laramie Longhorn heavy duty was. It's amazing what they did with them, and even not even the quality and the materials, but just the overall design of everything. I posted a picture on Instagram. The dashboard on both sides of the speedometer cluster, it's like multi-dimensional, and it's like two pieces, and there's a ledge, and there's these teeny little lights. It took me about 2 weeks before I even noticed them, that just looking at the dash, you can't see a light, you can't see a fixture or a lens or anything. There are these teeny tiny little LED lights that just shine down on the bottom face of the dash, just to like give it like this glow. You know how people will put like lights in their front yard pointing up at the front of their house?
Right.
Kind of like that, but they were so hidden, I didn't even notice it for 2 weeks. And I got to looking at it, I was like, holy crap. They went, it's like someone designed that, and then they actually put it into production. Like, I can't imagine the extra steps it would have taken to get those two stupid little lights in there that serve no purpose other than just to add to the overall flow and ambience of the interior. Like, they killed it.
Oh, no doubt. It's a gorgeous truck. And then not only that, I don't know if you saw this, but this is what my last video was, live video. That's a rendering and leak of the Hellcat Durango. And I got a guy who messaged me. It was like a little over a week ago when I did a live video, I think. And he messaged me and said that, hey, I've seen a Durango running around Detroit with wires hanging out of the truck, and it's got a Hellcat engine in the Durango. I know it for a fact because he's claiming he saw it for a split second. It was a blurry photo that he took, and he re-looked at all the photos, and he says he swears that it's a Hellcat engine in a Durango, wires hanging out all over the place, so that Dodge is getting ready to shove out a Hellcat Durango. And I can believe that because Trackhawk sales are down because the Durango wasn't doing so hot. But since they did the SRT Durango, the Durango since 2012 has been getting better and better and better. But supposedly the Durango was only selling 6,000 units a year. And in 2014, when they did the refresh, it went up to like 20-something thousand. By 16 and 17, they're up to 50 or 60,000. Now at the SRT Durango, they're over 120,000. That's only 60 to 80,000 less than the Jeep Grand Cherokee selling. And it's going up every year. So it looks like the Durango is starting to be the favorite amongst Dodge and Jeep owners. So it would make no sense not to do it. And I think from Dodge's standpoint, they're going to try to squeeze out an $85,000 Durango. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm thinking that from a standpoint of where Dodge is going right now, it's not a matter of if they're going to do it. It's just a matter of when. I think the Hellcat is pretty much almost for sure going to come out.
Well, why wouldn't they? I mean, if you go back and to when SRT really started to take off, I mean, with the 300 Magnum Charger, and it's like, let's put the shit in anything we possibly can. So, you know, it took them a while to get there with the Durango. And speaking of crap cars, the early Durangos were total piles. They were terrible. So to see what they are now when the got redesigned in 12, 13 or whatever that was, like you said, I mean, they went from literally being a car that I don't know you could pay me to drive to, wow, this is actually a really nice car. So they put in their effort to make it, you know, really something nice. And, you know, I was pretty surprised that it took so long to get from just having, you know, the 5.7 in it to, you know, where they are now with it. But it's like, you know, with the 6.1, it was like, okay, we got the 6.1 in the Charger, Magnum, and 300, and now here comes the Challenger. We got to put it in the Challenger, and okay, let's put it in the Jeep Grand Cherokee. And then, you know, and then with the Hellcat, it's like, okay, we got it in the Challenger. Oh, well, we got to put it in the Charger. Oh, well, we got to put it in the Jeep. So why, now that the, you know, the drivetrain and all the components are going to be the same, from the Trackhawk to the Durango. So if you have someone that says, well, I really like the performance aspect of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, but I don't like Jeep, or I don't like how the Jeep Grand Cherokee looks. I really like the Durango. The Durango's got a whole nother row of seats, a lot bigger, a lot more storage. But I really want to have that supercharged Hellcat motor. I guess I'm going to have to stick with the Jeep or find something different. So in terms of manufacturing or packaging, I guess, the research and development and all that's already been sorted out on the Jeep Trackhawk. So literally all they have to do is no different really than if they're going to make a regular SRT 392 Jeep, a 5.7 or a Durango, or a 5.7 liter Durango. In terms of the manufacturing and the assembly process, it costs them no more other than the actual cost of the motor, transmission, rear end, the transfer case, all that stuff. But in terms of fitting it into production, it doesn't cost them anything. And that's why they do it, is because one, they can easily slip it into production. And then two, like, people will buy it. Like, they keep selling these cars. They haven't drastically changed the Charger or the Challenger because they don't need to. It would be great. Yeah, it'd be great if we had a Alfa Romeo or Fiat or whatever base chassis that's smaller and lighter, but we still get the same amount of horsepower. That'd be great. But they've proven that they can take a early 2000s Mercedes platform and sell it for fucking $100,000 20 years later. I mean, that's what they're doing. I mean, that platform started out in 2005 and a half as a Chrysler 300. That was, I don't know what the base model started at, but probably a $30,000 car back then for a base model Chrysler 300. And then here we are with relatively speaking, obviously you got LX, LC, LA, LD, all the different, I guess, variations of that platform. But for the most part, it's the same thing as the 2005 Chrysler 300. They're now selling it for $100,000 for a Redeye or a Demon or a Grand Cherokee Trackhawk or well, maybe not, but the Durango Hellcat if it comes out. Yep. So if they put a Hellcat motor in a Durango, people are going to buy it because it's better than the 392 Durango. And people want the 392 Durango because it's better than the 5.7 Durango. So as long as they can keep just making small changes and slipping it through in production pretty seamlessly, people are going to buy it. That means they don't have to spend tens of millions of dollars on developing a completely new chassis or a completely new layout altogether. So, they'll put in the Hellcat motor in that, or the Jeep, or the Demon motor in the Redeye, just ensures that they're going to get another 30 or 40,000 sales out of whatever that model is, just by doing that small little change. You know what I mean?
The big thing that scared them from doing the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk was the fact that they needed stronger axles, they needed a stronger drive shaft, they needed stronger front half shafts, and they needed a stronger transmission. They had never put a Hellcat engine in a Jeep before, so they had to R&D all that. And like you said, with all that R&D finished, the Durango, I'm not 100% sure. I know for sure, though, the drive shaft is longer, but I think the half shafts and axles are relatively the same. So now that they know what technology is going to fit, and they're very similar vehicles. GTOS only had to change a few bends in the exhaust, and it was only 2 inches longer than the Jeep. With very minute changes like that, since they've already done all the research, it would probably only take them a couple of months to finalize the few little changes they needed for the Durango, and they could probably, do it for their terminology, would probably be relatively inexpensive at all, and it would be straight profits. They basically would be getting more money back from their R&D from the Jeep. And so if I was to guess, I would say that the Durango Hellcat is pretty much almost for sure going to come out. And if and when it does, which I'd say for sure it is, I'm 100% buying it. So I don't know if I'll trade the Redeye in, but I am 100% getting it because I was thinking about getting another SRT Durango. And I think I'm just going to hold off and wait. If they do this, which I think they're going to, I am straight up doing it. I love the Durango. It's the best SUV I've ever been in, straight up. It's awesome.
They're really nice. And I I haven't heard one way or the other that they are or not doing a Hellcat Durango, but in my mind, there's no way they're not. Just like there's no way they're not going to do a Hellcat Ram or Rebel TRX. Just like there's no way they're not going to do a Redeye wide body Charger, because like I said, you know, they've already sold pretty much the majority of the Charger Hellcats that they're going to sell. I mean, it's not like they're going to keep selling 20,000 a year like they did the second year or whatever the figures were. It's going to taper off, right? Because the fun factor and the shock and the awe and the wow is going to fade off. They have a motor that is in the Redeye and the Demon that literally all they have to do is throw in the engine bay, and guess what? They're back up to where they were on the first and second year sales of the Charger Hellcat. So it caught, like, literally the difference in it is the difference in price between the Hellcat motor and the Redeye motor from their cost perspective, or the Demon motor. So for whatever that cost difference is for them, whether it's $5,000 or $10,000, they're now going to sell 15, 20,000 more cars in the first year and maybe second year. And the wide body portion of it, I think the Demon wide body, although it got a lot of criticism at first from people saying, oh, the flares just look like bushwhacker flares, or they look like they're just tacked on there or whatever. I think now between the Demon, the Redeye, and then just the Hellcat wide body, I think it's caught on. I think people like it. I think people realize that it's a good way to be able to really get some good wheels and tires underneath the car. And there's no reason they wouldn't offer that on the Charger. And I think the only reason they haven't yet is just simply because of the fact that the Charger, the way having four doors, the flare would cover part of the rear quarter panel, part of the rear bumper, and part of the rear door, whereas the Challenger doesn't have that. You have the front bumper, the front fender, the rear quarter, the rear bumper. So the amount of actual molding and making pieces and to make it all work is half the amount of pieces you would need to make for the Charger. Because if you think about it, if you open the door, you have the outside of the flare that's on the outside of the door, and then if you open it, now you got a space between the flare and the door. So you got to have quite a bit of, and I don't know if they would do it with plastic or sheet metal or how they would do it, but it's a little more complex and involved for them to make the wide body on the Charger. But I have no doubts that they're going to do that too. I thought they would have a Demon version of the Charger. I'm surprised that didn't happen, but now that they took the Demon motor and are moving forward with it in the Redeye, I think that they're going to do that with the Charger. And then also, if you're going to go ahead and do the trouble of that, might as well make it wide body so it can handle, put that power down better with, better wheels and tire package for it. So I think that's coming personally.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if it'll be called a Redeye, but I do think that's coming. And if that comes, that's what I'm getting.
Apparently, from what I've read from guys who are emailing me and just going over what Dodge has done in the past, it's looking like that they've already patented the name Angel. As soon as the Redeye got teased and launched into production this summer, they immediately at that point in time, from my sources, have started talking about the word Angel up at Mopar and Dodge and SRT. So this is what I've gathered over the last 6 months from what I've been told, the emails and pictures I've seen. The Angel's been patented. They're starting to talk about the Angel more and more. They're preparing for it. Then the 426 is out. Now the 426 Elephant crate's out. Now we're about ready to get a Elephant engine in a production car detuned. So based on all of that, what I'm looking like we're going to be seeing here is a four-door wide-body Charger with a Elephant engine detuned to 909 horsepower, codenamed the Angel, and Angels kill demons. So with that being said, it's safe to say that a Charger running 909 horsepower would destroy a demon even on race fuel. That's a lot of power, and you can't make up for 60 horsepower with 200 pounds. So and that makes sense because they went from 707 to 808, now 909. They've already got the Elephant out, just like they did the crate with the Hellcat engine. They patented the name Angel, and they're definitely not going to release a 900 horsepower Challenger and call it the Angel because they've already got a Demon, they've already got a Redeye, so they've saved that whole market for the Charger. So the Charger, they're going to finally, it's like hard to explain. A lot of manufacturers have done this in the past. They leave the four-door guys out in left field and they beg and beg and beg like the Durango guys did. The Durango guys waited for SRT for 10 years.
Or like the Chevy SS.
Yeah, and they leave them hanging out there like the Durango for so long. The Durango SRT was the most successful release of a vehicle besides the Hellcat that Dodge has ever released, and any manufacturer is one of the most successful. So with that there, I would say that they're leaving the four-door Charger guys out in left field, and when the Angel comes out, it's going to be like, okay, here, Charger guys, you've now got the fastest Dodge ever produced. So
don't ever ask us for anything else again.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're going to see either an 888 horsepower or a 909 horsepower Charger. And since the Elephant's 1,000 horsepower, they could easily detune that to 909. The engine would be totally safe. It would run very well. You'd have no risk of blowing it. It's 100 more horsepower than the Demon. It's going to have trans brake, a better suspension, a chiller killer, a functional hood, a wide body Charger. And to be honest, I think it'll outsell the Challenger 3-1 because there's a lot more family guys out there that want a car like that, and I think it'll make the biggest impact like the Hellcat. I think when they announce the Angel in the Charger, if they do, which I think they will, I think it's going to break the internet. That's my opinion. The internet will it'll be down. That'll be it for YouTube.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only thing that could be better is that same thing, 909, whether it's a 426 with a 3.0 liter detuned or whatever it is, even just a Redeye or Demon motor in a 300 SRT, like bring back the 300 SRT. But like, if that existed, hands down, that's what I would own over any over a Trackhawk, a Durango, a Charger, a Challenger, any of it. I would own the 300. Period. And I'm like, a part of me just really wants to buy like a 2012. 2013 300 SRT and just drop a Hellcat or a Elephant motor in it because it would just be the ultimate. It would absolutely be the ultimate. Now, granted, going back to 2012 or 2013, you know, it's a little bit dated. You know, at that point, it's 6 years old, 7 years old. So if you could make it work in, say, whatever, you know, I don't know how much difference there is between, say, a 2013 SRT 300 and a 2018 300S in terms of interior quality and all that stuff. I think they're probably pretty much the same still, but
yeah,
the SRT 300, the second gens, I think are great looking cars. And I don't know if you've seen any of them, the ones on Instagram where they put the Hellcat hood on them. Oh, it looks mean as shit.
Yeah, like
mean as shit.
Realistically here, I'm going to put you in like a hypothetical because I want to know what you would do. Okay, let's say you and Miss Mush are watching TV, okay? You're just chilling. It's a night off from work, and Dodge has a commercial on TV, and it says Angels kills demons, and it shows a glimpse of a Charger just for a split second, and then it says coming soon. And then you immediately, Miss Mush looks at you and says, Todd, don't even think about it unless you plan on trading the Demon in. Would you trade the Demon in for a 909 horsepower Angel?
100%.
It's gone.
It's gone out the door. I mean, I've for whatever reason, I've always been a fan of kind of the unsuspecting destroyer. So whether it's a Cadillac CTS-V or a Chrysler 300 or a Dodge Charger, even the Chevy SS, which they didn't really sell much or amount to much, but
they're awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean, but you're talking about a 4-door or a family car or luxury or a wagon, you know, the Magnum or the CTS-V wagon. I think it's just the coolest thing ever to have a car that is not your typical sports car or muscle car or performance car. You know, to see a Cadillac CTS, a Cadillac, when they thought, hey, let's come out with this, 2009 or CTS, and they did the redesign. I think it was 2009, and they were like, grandpas and grandmas around the world are gonna love this thing. And then, you know, the performance division came out and said, okay, now we're going to stuff the biggest motor we can into it. Like, for most people out there, if you're not a automotive enthusiast, so to speak, you're not going to know the difference between visually just seeing a CTSV drive down the road versus a regular CTS. You know, some random dude off the street isn't going to know. But when you hear a CTSV or you see one drive by and it's got, you know, slicks on the back, skinnies on the front, you know, it's got no exhaust on it at all, and it's just ripping like a NASCAR down the street. I mean, how cool is that? You know, oh, yeah. It's like, look at that. Same thing with a Charger or a 300 or a Magnum or something. You know, it's an unsuspecting, you know, the last car you'd think that would be have 1,000 horsepower in it from the factory or whatever. So I definitely would ditch the Demon for a supposed 909 horsepower Charger wide body.
For sure. Yeah, I would ditch my Redeye for it, and I think that Dodge is very smart when it comes down to it. I think that Dodge is probably the smartest brand in the world right now, even more than, you know, some of the European brands that people, you know, think are so great, like Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. I think that Dodge have hit a market that no other automotive brand could ever hit, and that is the average guy. Because let's face it, $70,000 is a decent amount of money. Mm-hmm. But if you're a hardworking guy, even with an average paying job, making 50 grand a year, 40 grand a year, you could still afford a Hellcat. You could. I mean, it's a little bit of work, but you could. I mean, you're basically affording a car that performs as good as a $250,000 car. I mean, let's face it, a Hellcat performs on the same level as most cars that are double or triple its price, and the luxury or the luxurious feel on the inside is beyond or equal to any BMW or Mercedes I've ever been in. And let's face it, my 3 Series sucked compared to the Hellcat. It was a 61,000 plus tax car that only made 300 horsepower. The leather hurt my butt. It was hard as a rock. It looked nice. It was decent for what it was, but for $60-something thousand, the same exact price I paid for my Charger, I got a bigger car that was heavier, more comfortable, had a better warranty. Instead of 3-year 36, I got 5-year 50,000. And not only that, it had triple the horsepower, and it's the same price. I mean, I think Dodge has figured out a way to just destroy the competition. You're getting so much for so little. And a lot of guys say that, you know, a lot of haters, not, you know, obviously people love Dodge, but a lot of haters say, oh, Dodge is heavy, they're overpriced, they're 20-year-old chassis. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's no need to refresh something 20 times a year if it's doing well, if it's comfortable, it's performing. If the numbers are up and things are on the up and up, why keep changing? Why screw something that's already good? If it's not broke, why are we fixing something? Like, Dodge has learned this very well. I think they're just so smart at doing this. And Tim was probably the biggest thing that Dodge needs to be thanking. Tim Kuniskis was Dodge's savior with the Hellcat. That's what really put them back on the king of the hill position, in my opinion.
Well, and what they realized, I think, which, I mean, I've not read any of them say this, but to me, it seems like they realized that they don't have to go pick up 15, 20,000 new customers, or they don't have to get 15 or 20,000 people to switch from Chevy to Dodge or Ford to Dodge. They have to get, all they have to do, which this is even easier, is to get to upgrade their Dodge. I mean, how many people got into a Hellcat that had a 6.4 liter or a 6.1 liter or 5.7 liter version of their car prior? I'm sure a huge percentage of Hellcat owners owned or upgraded from a 6.1 or a 6.4. And same with the Redeye. I'm sure a huge portion of Redeye owners are going to be people that upgraded from a Hellcat or a Scat Pack or 392. I'm sure plenty of Trackhawk owners are people that had, you know, possibly a Gen 1 SRT Jeep or Gen 2 392 SRT Jeep. So what they've done is figured out they already have their customers that already appreciate what they make. So they figured out how to get those people to sell their car that they already spent their money on and buy a brand new one. And it's pretty simple, like make it faster and make it nicer and make it faster. And they do that. So, yep. I mean, it is smart. It really is.
It's a crazy thing that happened about 2-3 months ago. It was took my seats out of the Hellcat to race Mike in Mexico. And I put the seats in the garage. Now, I'm sure you've probably done this a lot because your Charger Hellcat was one of the fastest and badass Chargers in the country. Our Hellcat Chargers, that is. And so I'm sure you've taken your seats out many times. I don't know if this has happened to you, but I'd imagine it has. I took my seats out, put them in the garage, and then I went back into the garage a couple of days later, and the leather is so fresh and so much of high quality that the garage smelled like a Hellcat. I'm not even kidding. I could smell the leather throughout the whole garage.
Yeah.
So it's
nice materials. It is.
Yeah, and it's better than my Hellcat or better than my BMW was. My best friend's brother has an RS5, and RS5 is a really nice car, but the interior is not on par with a Hellcat, not the leather at least. The leather seats in the Hellcat are probably the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in out of any of the couple hundred cars I've been in are the best. They're just untouchable, and you're getting them in a $65,000 car. Now the Hellcat starts at 58. Of course, you have to add the Laguna leather back at $4,000 or whatever it is. But I mean, where are you going to get a car for $64,000 MSRP with those seats? I mean, you're not going to get it. I mean, my BMW didn't have it, and it was a $61,000 car. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just great. I think Dodge is doing great, and I just think that a lot of the haters out there are going to continue to hate. And when I go to car shows, you get those guys that walk up and say it's just an overpriced Dodge. It's an old 20-year-old car, but they don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. So they see the taillights going down the highway.
Well, and you know, to their defense a little bit, I mean, Chevy and Ford have done a good job at constantly redesigning and redeveloping and reinventing their performance cars. Like I said, the latest, 1LE is leaps and bounds different than, a Chevy SS or a Camaro SS was 10 years ago. And Dodge hasn't done that. But like you said, there's if it's not broke, don't fix it. But some people see that as, well, if you live in the trailer park, why don't you try to get out of the trailer park? I mean, we're the redneck trailer park of the community, the Dodge, the
right.
Dodge, and to some degree, yeah, like we're push rod V8s, heavy ass 20-year-old chassis, but it works and we can go out there and kill it. So why not? And like we said, would it be cool to have a refined and redesigned chassis to go off of? Yeah, but at the same time, what we're able to do, what Dodge is able to do with this old heavy ass chassis and old technology and push rod and all the redneck and mullets that we have, we're still stomping the hell out of the majority of others out there with their re-envisioned, reinvented, refined, redesigned, newest generation cars. So if we ever do redesign and get a new platform, we'll just be even that much further ahead.
Yep. Yeah, it's I don't even think there's even a problem with the chassis. I mean, in track mode, my Hellcat can go around a corner doing 75, 80 miles an hour with very little effort at all. And especially with the wider tires, more of a stance. It's really not a bad car. Even handling, sure, it's not going to handle, like a C7 Z06 is. It's not going to handle like a ZR1. Definitely not like a ZR1 or a
Miata.
Yeah, or a Miata. Oh my God. So yeah, it's not going to handle that good. Just to sidetrack for a second, a Miata is one of the only cars that I've ever been in that you can go around a racetrack, even if you've beefed it up to say 250 horsepower, and you normally, when you go into the turn, you go into the brake, and as you're exiting, you are going to accelerate as you exit the turn. Well, with the Miata, you just never take your foot off the gas. It just stays on the gas, and you just turn the wheel, and the car just keeps going. And I was doing that like, I don't know, like 8, 9 years ago. And I was like, good God, I have to brake. And the guy's like, nope, hold the gas. And I'm just going around that corner. I'm like, holy shit, we just exited. No brake, nothing, just wide open throttle the whole time. So yeah, no, the Charger's not going to handle like that. But for what it is, for the weight it is, the price you're paying, it actually handles pretty damn good. I mean, what is the Hellcat going, like 0.94 Gs in the skid pad, or 93 or something like that?
I mean, it's up there. And what the funny thing is, too, about it is when people start comparing how shitty a car is compared to another one, they're using 0 to 60 times or quarter mile times or skid pad G ratings and stuff like that. I can tell you this right now. Your car running even a 10.1, let's say you ran a 10.1 in your Charger Hellcat, and my Demon runs a 9.2. If you were to roll up on me on the interstate and we were to run each other, you're talking about such a minimal performance difference in real world that you would, I mean, I might put a car length or two on you, and we're talking about the difference of a 10.1 to a 9.1 in the quarter mile. Or you'd say something about, you know, a 9.5 G on the skid pad versus a 1 G on the skid pad. Who the fuck drives like that in real life? Nobody. I mean, and 0 to 60. I mean, 0 to 60 from a 3.5 to a 3.1. Like, there's such obscure means to compare two vehicles, and it really starts to make sense when you take something like, you know, to go from, say, a 9-second flat to an 8-second flat in the quarter mile. You know, the amount of horsepower that takes and the amount of money that takes, and in the real world, outside of a track or outside of the Nürburgring or outside of, you know, whatever road course is your favorite road course out there, Willow Springs or whatever, on the street, real life, the difference between those, like, is barely noticeable. I mean, especially in drag racing and just straight line power and horsepower. Like, I mean, you can't tell the difference in how my Hellcat feels compared to how my Demon feels on horsepower, and they run almost a second different, you know, in the quarter mile. In racing on the street, you're talking about the difference in a car length or two. It's not like, you know, I'm going to be standing still in one and the other one's going to fly by like a bolt of lightning. It's just going to slowly pull away until it gets, you know, to where the aerodynamics start slowing both the cars down. So right. People put a lot of focus on that stuff. And it's like when people throw up Nürburgring times, I'm like, motherfucker, who in the United States is ever going to take their car to the Nürburgring? Like, right. A couple hundred people ever? Like, you don't. So who cares? Like, how fast can your car get from home to the grocery store and back? Because that's a more realistic way to compare your car to my car. Because that's what you're doing with yours, and that's what I'm doing with mine. Right. Not moving to the Nürburgring. Get out of here with that shit. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, yeah, it's just, I guess, a way to compare two cars, and guys who don't race or don't own them, or, you know, don't have any intention of owning, whatever the case may be, they just compare, you know, apples to oranges. And it really doesn't matter. Like you said, I mean, the difference between 800 horsepower and 775 on the street, we're talking like half a car length in a quarter mile time. It doesn't matter. So I think guys need to focus more on what we have in front of us. We now have all the tools and all the cars that we need to just enjoy life. Buy it, enjoy it, race it, and, you know, let's just have fun. It's not about this is better than that. Yeah, the Hellcat is fast. It's faster than most cars, but, you know, the haters are going to say it's not. It's old. You know, forget all that. Just buy them and enjoy them. That's what
yeah. And the cool thing is to be able to sit there and be able to appreciate someone like Nick or, you know, Guitar Mageddon or Mike Street Speed, who are total Chevy guys, and appreciate what they do with their cars, even though I'm not per se a Chevy fan, or, you know, and on the flip side, they appreciate what we do with our Dodges. And I think it really boils down to a lot to maturity, because, you know, there's plenty of mature people out there that, you know, despite their brand loyalty, are plenty aware of the qualities and good things about the other brands. They're not just, you know, blindsided with, you know, troll brains or whatever. So, and it's cool. Like, I enjoy talking to, you know, Ford and Chevy guys about their Ford and Chevys as much as I enjoy talking to you about, you know, our Mopars. So, yeah. And just the fact that we have all this shit to talk about is pretty cool, because we could be talking about our, you know, our 4-cylinder car or our all-electric car that gets, you know, 90 miles per gallon, because that's all the government allows us to do, you know? So yeah. I'm happy with how things are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I am too. I mean, I actually had a really serious issue with Fanboys on my channel over the last 3 days or 2 days, really yesterday and today. And
well, they're probably 12, just FYI.
Yeah, I sold the Integra. I sold the Integra Type R, and I had a lot of people saying that we're gonna unsubscribe to you, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've never seen your comments on my channel before. I've never seen your replies before or emails. So you basically might watch some of my videos, you might not. You never comment, you never boost my videos to rank higher. You do nothing. You just subscribe just so you could take peeks at a Type R, and now you're leaving because I'm selling it. Number one, you never supported the channel, you supported the car, and you never commented. So it's better that you leave anyway, so don't let the door hit you on the way out. I've lost like 25 subs since yesterday. Of course, I'm still gaining subs, so I didn't even notice them gone really, but there has been at least 25 or more people that unsubscribed. And it's like, I'm not a fanboy. I got a GMC sitting outside. I had a Honda. I've got a bunch of Mopars. I'm a car guy. I love Mopar more than the rest, but I would never trade my Duramax because I love diesel and I love the Duramax. I'm just an automotive guy. I love vehicles. I can't lie. I just love everything. If I could have a dream garage, it would have a GT500. I'd have an M5 E60 V10 BMW. I'd have a Demon. I'd have an Angel, a Durango SRT. I'd have a Trackhawk. I'd have a Charger Hellcat. I'd have my Redeye. I'd have a Type R Civic, a Type R Integra. I'd probably have an RS5 Audi. I'd have an R8. I love cars. I'd have a ZL1 and a Corvette ZR1. I love vehicles. So, I guess that pissed people off that I sold it, but I don't know. It really sucks because a lot of those guys thought I was going to be keeping it forever, and there's no such thing. I'm sure you lost subs when you sold your Charger. I'll bet that at least a dozen probably left. So I think we lost Todd. I don't know what happened. Let me just see. I'm trying to bring him back in. I think he lost internet connection, he just said. I don't know if his internet went out, but we're going to see if it's back on because he's got his cell phone, which has, LTE. So I'm going to see if he's able to get back in. If not, we're getting close to the end of the live stream anyway. But let's just see if he's able to even get back in. I think he just lost power possibly to his router, and he won't be able to get back in. So I'm waiting for that, but with that in mind, I did lose subscribers from the Type R, but oh yeah, he said he's going to try to get back in. So let me do that. But yeah, I lost subscribers with the Type R, and it is what it is. But I wasn't going to keep that car forever. There's no way. I love that car, but you guys have plans or I have plans to show you guys other stuff, so it had to go. Let's see if we get Todd back in. Okay. So I just linked him back in. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's like, this is what I say. I'm not trying to talk shit about him, but fuck it. I don't care. I really don't. I mean, if you're not going to comment on any of my Type R videos to help boost me up, and what's up? Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I was just saying, if someone unsubscribes, you could just sell a car. I've lost like 25 subscribers over the Type R. Number one, guys, I've never seen their comments before. So you don't comment on my video. You don't like it. You don't support it. You don't help boost it. You just lurk on the channel. And then I sell the car and you say you're leaving, and your first comment in 6 months is, I'm leaving the channel. Get the fuck out of here. You weren't supporting the channel anyway. I mean, you don't follow a car channel because of one car. You follow it for the presenter, the personality, the automotive fun. But sadly, the world we live in, I would probably go on a hunch, Todd, and say you probably lost some subscribers over the Charger Hellcat, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And I'm appreciative for every single person that subscribes or watches, even the trolls. But at the same time, YouTube really is a place where people, it's amazing how much people think their opinion matters.
Right. Yeah.
Their opinion matters. Like they think that their opinion matters to the rest of the world when really it doesn't. Like, you know, and that's not to say that I don't want to have discussions, because I do. I totally love having discuss. I would love to sit there and talk, you know, Ford to Chevy, or, you know, Dodge to Ford, or whatever, and just
Right.
You know, and just have discussions. I mean, because it's fun, because that's what I'm passionate about. And but so I mean, I'm all about people bringing in discussions, but when people just come in and say you're stupid for doing this, like, what makes you think that I care about your opinion? And like,
Right.
I never quite understood what drove so many people to be so entitled that they think that the world owes them, you know, owes agreeing to their opinion or something. So it's definitely turned into an interesting place. But fortunately, there's, you know, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people out there that, you know, do appreciate it. I mean, because, you know, really, it's one of the awesomest things. Like, it's great having, you know, other Dodge loyalists or Dodge fans that follow me and are into it just as much as I am, and appreciate what I do because they're into Dodges and I'm into Dodges. But even more so, I mean, when a Chevy guy or Ford guy, you know, comments on a video and says, man, I own a, you know, a GT350, or I own a, you know, Mustang 5.0, or I own a ZL1, and I love your video, or I love this video, or I love your car, or that car's awesome, and I'm not even a Dodge guy. Like, that's the kind of, you know, the comments that, you know, you really look forward to. I mean,
I agree.
And you know, if someone's there for one sole purpose, and it's to see a video of a Charger Hellcat or an Integra Type R, and they're going to leave when it's gone, then they probably, like you said, okay, see you later, because they probably weren't picking up on the important aspects of, you know, what the channel or the videos were about anyways, you know. And for me, I feel like I can still, I guess, continue to make, well, once I get my wrecked ass car back, I'll be able to resume making content that is useful. I mean, if anything, I just hope some of my videos are useful. And, you know, I try to share as much information as I can in my videos. And, you know, I think I can still do that even without my Hellcat. And if someone doesn't see that, then they were possibly watching it for the wrong reason. And I do appreciate them watching it while they did. But, you know, I definitely don't want someone there that isn't getting anything out of it, you know. At least find it funny, or find it informative or helpful or educational or, you know, entertaining, whatever. Get something out of it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it doesn't have to be focused solely on one specific exact model of a car, you know?
Right. Yeah, your videos are great. I mean, just as some little backstory here and funny, when I first launched my channel, I was like, all right, what exhaust am I going to get for the Hellcat? I'm looking at Corsa. So, of course, like most YouTubers do, and which even Mush did too, and I'll get to that in a second, but like I start keying in on YouTube, and I'm like, Hellcat exhaust. I start going through, and I'm like, okay, what does this sound like? What does a Borla sound like? What does a MagnaFlow sound like? And poof, that's how I found your channel. And there you are in the garage, in the dark by yourself for hours, putting on the MagnaFlow exhaust on your Charger. And that was a very helpful video, because I was like, wow, the MagnaFlow sounds great. And you were the go-to video for MagnaFlow, because you had a really wide shot in the streets early morning. Your Charger's just flying down the road. You could hear the grumble of the exhaust. And I was like, damn, that sounds good. And then Corsa sponsored me. So I was like, I want the MagnaFlow, but Corsa sponsored me. Okay, I'll put the Corsa on. I went and did that video. And then I show up to the original meeting at the Cecil County Dragway, the original YouTube caller. The second one Mike did. And I roll up, and you actually waved to me and knew who I was, because I guess you had watched my video and I had watched your video. And then when I started talking with you, we both realized we'd watch each other's video. And that's what YouTube's all about. If two content creators are both watching each other and learn something from each other's video, that's how you know that they were good videos. And I just thought it was kind of funny to share. It's kind of really cool, a cool thing that, you know, I had watched your videos, and it helped me, you know, decide on what I wanted to do. And then you had watched mine. So that was actually pretty cool too. Well,
yeah. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, some people will, you know, and I don't know how serious they're being or not. You never can tell on the internet, but, you know, people will say, oh, you know, you're paid to say this, or, you know, you're only saying this because they sent it to you for free or whatever, when half the time I pay the same price anybody else does for something. But you know, and even like this week, you know, I've posted a lot of Black Friday or Cyber Monday deals that I've seen online, whether it's for, you know, Diablo Sport or you know, Diode Dynamics or you know, East Coast Mopars, whatever, because all I'm doing is just trying to share information. I mean, I get dozens and dozens and dozens, hundreds, if not over 1,000 messages a week on Instagram of people asking me for input on something in terms of a build that they're working on their Mopar. And you know, I don't care what brand you use. I don't care what brand of exhaust you get or the next guy gets, or, you know, I'm just going to tell you my experience with the ones that I have experience with, and hopefully that it's helpful to you. And if I see a chance for somebody to save money on a mod for their car, I'm going to post about it. I'm definitely not going to post about something that's crap or that I wouldn't use.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to say, here, buy this tire. It'll last for 2,000 miles, but hey, I'm getting paid $25 to mention it on YouTube. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to share what, you know, what I think would benefit you. If it doesn't, okay, cool. Then don't worry about it. But
yep. And
you know,
the thing is I've gotten sponsorships for the Hellcat. I've got not very expensive things per se, just lighting or certain, you know, different things companies will send me. And I've got a lot of them in the garage right now. I've never done a video on, and I refuse to do a video on because they're not good products. And instead of, you know, being negative Nancy and putting out a video talking crap about a startup company or a company that doesn't have a good budget or good quality, I just kind of fly under the radar and let it slide. So it's okay to be, you know, subjective and say, hey, I love this. I don't like this, but overall it's a great product. If I get a product where I'm thinking this sucks, that sucks, this sucks, this is horrible, don't buy it. What's the point even putting out a review? So a lot of the times guys will be like, hey, like you said, are you paid to do this review, or did they pay you for this? No, they didn't pay me. I just only review things that I like, or things that have diversity to them. Like, hey, it's 60% good, 40% bad. Here's why. If something's total shit, I'm not even going to review it because it's a waste of time. So, you know, like with the GTOS exhaust, some guys are saying, hey, why are you getting GTOS when you had Corsa on the Hellcat? I was sponsored temporarily by Corsa for that car for a certain amount of time. I love Corsa. I feel that saying, hey, you like Corsa, why'd you get GTOS, is saying, hey, you like Dodge, but why'd you buy a Ferrari? They're not even in the same category. So I tell people that too. It's like, you can't compare GTOS to Corsa. One's 1,800 and one's 5,000. They're not even in the same realm quality-wise, and it's price-wise is different too. So it's just for different people, different strokes, different folks. I mean, it's just subjective. A lot of people like to start that kind of drama, and they say, hey, are you paid to do this? They say it all the time. I got videos with dozens of comments saying that I'm supposedly paid to do this review, and I ain't made a dime. So it's like, hey, yeah, you're supposedly paying me. Where's the checks? Because I want the money for all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing is, like, I just hate the fact that I just try to be helpful and share what I know, so that, you know, it'll save someone some time or money later. And that gets mistaken for paid product placement, when I've never been paid to, you know, do a video on a product ever.
Yep.
You know, it's like, don't use these injectors, use these. Here's why: because we've done builds on these motors with it, and on these motors with it, and with these injectors and these injectors, and here's what happened. It didn't work because of A, B, and C, and these didn't work because of C, D, and E. You ended up with these. Save yourself the trouble of going through these ones, you know? So,
yeah. It's a crazy world out there. People say things like that. They want to stir up drama, or they don't believe, you know, that you're telling the truth. And I think the most recent one I had that was like that, if I'm not mistaken, was an install on the Type R. Was the header or something. They asked me if Skunk 2 paid me to do the review. And then on the Hellcat, they asked me how much I was paid by UPR to do the review on the catch cans. And I was like, I didn't get paid. They sent me and told me to give my honest feedback, and I did. Great product. I installed it. I spoke from the heart. And I got a lot of hate on my Durango SRT video. I don't know if you saw it. One of my last videos on the SRT Durango was I actually designed a bracket for UPR to work the Jeep setup on the Durango. It's like a little bracket that you use spacers on. It allows you to use the setup and put the cover on the ECU, because the Jeep SRT didn't have vents by the PCM, whereas the Durango did. So you want to keep the cover on there. You can't have the cover with the Jeep setup, and they hadn't engineered a Durango. And so I engineered these spacers so that it moves the bracket out of the way and you could still use it. So I did that and said it was a great setup, blah, blah, blah. And I had at least 3 or 4 people say, oh my God, you're an idiot. How much did UPR pay you? I forget that Billet Technologies makes way better stuff. And I'm like, listen, bro, if you like Billet Technologies, go buy them. I'm not talking about Billet in this video because it's not a Billet video and I don't have a Billet product. So I'm going to talk about what I have on hand, which is UPR. And I've used UPR in every video or in every car I've had, even before I had YouTube. And I stay with them because they've never done me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about Billet. I'm just saying I have UPR, good experience with them. It's a great product and the price is good. They didn't pay me. They just sent me a product and said review it, but they insisted that I was paid. It was just hilarious. It was,
yeah. I mean, the conspiracies people come up with, you know, everything from Dodge gave me my car for free, or they pay me to drive the car. It's a, you know, you name it. It's like, we live in the same world, dude. Like, I live in the same world you do. Does it work like that in your world? Because I mean, if it doesn't work like that in your world, it doesn't work like that in mine either. So
yeah, I tell you what, if I get a check from these companies that pays me thousands of dollars to review their product, or you do, whoever gets that first will share the money with one another. I'll let you know. I'll be like, hey, bro, I'll text you. But hey, they're, you know, AEM's paying me 10 grand to lie about their new intake that sucks.
Yeah.
I'll go send you some money to do that kind of stuff too. But I know for a fact that ain't never going to happen. It's just not. It's not the way it works. The absolute best that a YouTuber gets out of this would be, hey, I want you to review this product. Were you interested in it? We'll send you one to sample and put on your car and let us know what you think of it. If I think it's shit, I'm going to leave it in the garage or send it back. I've got parts in the garage right now that have been there for a year for the Hellcat. I refuse to put them on because they are shit products. But I won't review them because I don't want to be a negative Nancy and I don't want to talk shit about companies. I'm not a negative guy like that. So I just let it slide, let it go away. And, you know, that's the best we do. If someone wants us to review something, they'll send us a sample. I'm sure you've gotten products for free. A lot of times we'll say, hey, we'll send you this, review it. Let us know what you think of it. So that's the end of it. That's what we get.
Yeah, it's just the misconceptions people have. But they're adamant they're right, and they know. Which is funny. You know, somebody said, "Oh, it's no big deal. You know, it's no big deal. He wrecked his Demon. He'll make that back on YouTube in one video." I'm like, dude, I've not made that in my YouTube career. So it's just funny how the whole social media thing is kind of so foreign to some people, but they for sure know that they have it pegged down. And it's like, look, granted, someone like Mike Street Speed, yeah, if he wrecked his McLaren, he probably could pay out of pocket to have it fixed with, you know, a month's worth of videos. But not me.
They don't get it. They don't understand it. It's like, it doesn't go by subscribers. It does not. It goes by view. So anybody who's in here watching this right now, it's view count. And it's retained view count. So let's say, you know, SRTMUSH has a video that he gets 20,000 views on, and it's a 10-minute video, okay? And he gets 20,000 views, but the average watch time is only 30%. So the average is, amongst all the 10,000 views, he only averaged 3 or 4 minutes of view time on that 10-minute video. If he has another video that's 10,000 views and it's 10 minutes long, but the average view time is 8 minutes at 80%, he's going to make 3 times the money on the video with the higher view time. So the key here is watch the videos beginning to end, watch the ads, comment, like, dislike. Even if you dislike, it's totally fine. It doesn't matter if you dislike a video 1,000 times and it has no thumbs up at all. It still counts as interaction. You still make the same money. So the key is like, comment, watch the whole video with the ads. And it's the view count. If SRTMUSH gets 200,000 views on one video, that's about the equivalent of $700 or $800 if you watch the whole video. It's a lot of money, but you got to watch these videos. That's how it works.
Well, yeah, even that $700 or $800 isn't going to fix my wrecked Demon, or you know, it might pay for a new set of slicks for the rear, but that's about it. So you know, it's just funny that some people think that just because you put some videos on YouTube, now you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year by it. And you're not at all.
No.
It's literally pennies. You're talking about pennies. It's like doing penny stocks. You got to have a lot of pennies in there to make any money. And like you said, it's about views. And it's not easy for these days to get 7, 8, 900,000, 1 million views a month. I mean, that takes a lot of work, a lot of hours, and maybe even some luck. And it's after 2 years of doing it, I don't exactly know what can set a video. I mean, because I have some of my highest viewed videos, I think, are the worst one. Like they're ones that I just whipped up because I didn't have anything else to do.
Me too.
I didn't have any real meat, so I was like, I think this could maybe be like pass as not dog crap, so I'll just throw it up there. And it was like, 300, 400,000 views. I'm like, what? Why? Yeah. And then here I have a video that I spent 10 hours editing, and I had like multiple cameras, and it's 16 hours worth of track footage, and it gets 20,000 views. And I'm like,
same exact thing. I got these videos on my channel right now that I put a lot of work into, like Racing Mike or the BDS lift kit on my Duramax, and I get like 5,000 views, 6,000 views. So it's about half my subscriber count in views, which is not too bad considering Mike's got 775, or he has 800,000. Most of his videos only get 200,000. So if you're in the 30 to 50% view range of what you have in subscribers, you're doing good. But I have a video that I whipped together, and I mean, like, just threw it together. It was real information. It was good information, but the quality of the video, I just did a burnout in the Hellcat in the middle of the snow and then talked about an upcoming Hellcat Ram. I did it last January. It went viral. It's got 158,000 views. And then I did another quick one on the Dodge Ram 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, on the new Rebel TRX, 20,000 views. That's more than I have subscribers, and it's still going up. I did one in the summer at the automotive event, last winter at the New York Auto Show, talking about Burt Reynolds' Trans Am, and I just said Burt Reynolds' Trans Am, walked around the auto show for like maybe an hour and just put some footage together. It was pretty good, but it was just basic stuff. That thing did 60,000 views in 3 weeks. So I don't know how the algorithms work.
I don't either.
It's just one video latches on, and like another one, probably my worst video, not really worst, but like not a good one. It's really not. And I'm just sitting in the driveway, and then I get in my Type R of all cars to drive and talk about a Mopar. And I'm driving the Type R, and I talk about the wide body Charger. It did 60,000 views in 3 weeks, and I only had 15,000 subs. So I think that it's more of a trending thing. I think that really what it comes down to is YouTube sees the first hour. So if you get the right time and your subscribers just happen to be sitting at home bored, and you hit like 1,000 views in the first hour, YouTube gives you a second hour. You do another 1,000, they give you a third hour. You do good there, then they boost you for 24. After 24 hours, if it's decently steady, they give you 48. Once you get there, you're at 50, 60,000 views. They'll give you another month, which is what they did in my Ram video, and that goes to like 80, 90,000 views. Okay, you did good at the end of the month, they give you another month. And then you start to slow down, they start to take it away slowly but surely. And that's, I think, what it really is, it's a snowball. If you roll it in the snow, it gets bigger and bigger, and it keeps getting bigger to the point where it can't get any bigger, and it breaks. And once it breaks, it's dead. You're never getting views again. And that's what YouTube's like.
Yeah.
So it's about getting the traction. And I tell the subscribers here that watch me all the time, it's all about watch the video as long as you can, like it, comment. It's free content. It supports us. We need to get Todd to 100,000. We need to get me to 25,000. And just watch the videos and just, let it play. I support other YouTubers. Like, sometimes I'm sitting here editing a video and I'll let your videos play. You had some video where you were in New Jersey. You were literally 40 minutes from my house at Atco, and you're watching, what's his name there? Omega's Hellcat was there. He's one of my subscribers. And I wish I'd been out there knowing you were here, buddy, because I would have brought the Hellcat. It's only 40 minutes from my house. And because I'm at the beach, it's like a straight shot across. So I let that play through. I let it play all the way through. While I edit YouTube videos from my channel, I let your guys' videos play beginning to end, because I try to support, other content creators.
Yeah, for sure.
Let them play through.
Yeah. And I spent a lot of time, and I need to go back and because I know YouTube has changed like the YouTube studio or whatever, and how you can lay out your page. And I haven't changed mine in a while, but I'd gone through. I mean, because I subscribed to a lot of people, but I had taken and put like 30 of them as featured channels or whatever, and set up to where it would automatically rotate them or randomize them or whatever. So it wasn't like MySpace top 8. It was like the YouTube top 30, but it would would randomly put them on there. But I need to go back in and see if it still works that way, because I when the Hellcat first came out, I would subscribe to anybody that had any video of a Hellcat.
Yep.
And a lot of them ended up just like putting up 1 or 2 videos and then never put up a video again.
Oh.
So I I guess they were just doing it to test the waters or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but their channels never really turned into channels. They kind of just turned into a little storage server for their for their video or whatnot. But
have you seen my Hellcat Redeye ordering video?
Let me look at the thumbnail. It's weird. I have such a hard time coming up with thumbnails when I make my videos, but then I remember YouTube videos strictly by their thumbnails.
But it's got 12,000, so it's not too bad right now.
Hang on one sec.
I'm sure when I take delivery, when that delivery video comes out, I'm sure you'll probably watch it.
Hang on. I don't think. Man, I don't like how this does this.
I don't think you're even getting notifications when I post videos. I don't get notifications from you, so I just manually go to your channel from time to time and like and watch a couple of videos or let YouTube recommend them. But when you post a video, I don't get notifications, and I used to. Only the big channels are getting notifications. Like when Street Speed posts or someone else posts, I'll get a notification. But when you post or Family Cruising posts, I get nothing. So it's weird. It's like the smaller channels aren't getting pushed anymore, and I think that's a problem.
Yeah, I've seen the Redeye sponsorship video. I saw the Build Begins video and
Nice.
the GT Hoss video, but trying to find which one was I guess it's this first one that says order. I don't know if I saw that one, to be honest.
It's a pretty cool video. I tricked everybody and said, I'll get a Redeye if I can get to 25K. And then I just straight the next day filmed the video and went in order. I didn't plan it, but it just happened. And I'll tell you why I did it. And you tell me what you would do. Because I actually was going to ask you this at the beginning of the damn video and forgot because I wanted to get your opinion on it. So I'm just sitting here like, hey, there's not a whole lot of content to do for the Charger because let's face it, I got pretty much most you can get out of it without putting tens of thousands in it. So this guy calls me and says, hey, Corey, would you sell your Charger? I'm like, wait a minute, who's this? He's like, oh, it's Manahawk and Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. You took your Hellcat in here to get something checked 6 months ago. I'm just wondering if you'd sell. I'm like, not really. Like, why? And they're like, oh, well, we have someone that needs or wants a white Charger Hellcat. We can't get one right now. We have no allocation. We don't got one in the lot. We really want to sell it. Would you be inclined to come and trade it in? We'll put you in a new Hellcat. And I was like, nah, I blew them off for a month. So I finally called the guy back a month later. I was like, I like the Redeye, but probably not going to get it. Curious what you could do. He said, just come on down and check it out. So I went there, wasn't really planning on it, had my camera. He made me an offer on my car, made me an offer on the Redeye. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I said, let me go get my camera and film. Now we're in a private chat. I can't I don't want to tell YouTube this, but I'm going to type it to you now. And I'm going to send it to you. That's what I paid. Loaded with minus 1 or 2 things. Now I can tell you that they gave me $48,000 for my Charger, 48 grand, which is probably about 6 grand higher than anyone else would give me. And then Todd, they gave me that for a price on the Redeye. There was no way I could pass that up. Would you?
Where'd you send that to me at? Because I don't see that.
Oh, you don't see it? It's in the group chat in our private window outside of the video.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I've never used this before, so
yeah.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Yeah, I can't tell. I don't want to tell them that, but between you and I, if they were going to sell you, and I'll show you what the MSRP, well, the MSRP was $81,900, 82 grand plus tax. And they're selling me the Redeye for that price with tax out the door and tags.
That's a good deal.
Would you pass that up?
No.
So that's why I did it. So Todd's in here too and said he wouldn't pass it up. That's why I'm doing it. They gave me 48 on mine, and that's what they're selling me the Redeye for. So in that circumstance, I'd be a fool not to, right?
Yeah, that's a good out for sure.
So I got out, and I tell the guys like this, because I used to buy and sell cars. I do a lot of business and money management. I tell guys all the time, when you buy a brand new car off the lot, never sell it in the first year, because if you sell it 3 months after buying it, like I did my Durango, I could have sold it a year later and made the same money. Between 1 day and 1 year, the price don't go down. You've lost it when you drive off the lot. So a year later, you're the same. You also don't want to sell a car when it goes out of warranty, because let's say I got 48,000 for my Hellcat now. If I sold my Hellcat at 36,001 mile and it was 3 years old, I wouldn't get 48, I'd get 28. So the best time to sell a car is at the 2-year mark. The 1 to 2 year mark, you're going to get the most you're going to get for it. You're going to lose the least, and you got to use your vehicle for YouTube. Keep it at least 1 year. 1 year to 2 year, that's the gold mine for not losing your ass. And then, of course, finding the right dealer. And when I found this dealer with this deal, I was starstruck.
Yeah. Do you follow Chicago Mopar, Chuck?
I've heard that name. Isn't Chicago Mopar friends with Paul at Family Cruising or something?
Yeah. Yeah. So I talked to him a lot. He, I first met him at the Street Speed and Guitarmageddon and Dirty Max call out in April. And he had, Paul told me about him ahead of time. And he came to the call out, towing his demon with his Trackhawk all the way from Chicago to Cecil County, which I thought was really cool. I mean, because that's pretty stylish to trail your demon to the track across the country with Trackhawk.
Nice.
And then it turned out he booked his Bondurant SRT class on the same date that I did mine. So we hung out for that as well. And he was like, he's like, man, I've kind of had my eye on wanting to get a Viper. And he said, I've been looking at some online and I just don't know. And this and that. I'm like, well, would you get rid of the Demon? He's like, I don't know. You know, I was like, well, they're two totally different cars. They're both awesome. And said, but unless you were to get like an ACR or something, which, I mean, you know, I don't think it's as standout as the Demon.
Right.
Because, you know, the ACR is just that much more standout. I mean, you know, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So then like a week later, all of a sudden he's got this, you know, ACR Extreme, a color I've never seen in my life, this just crazy blue color. He's like, well, I got the Viper. I'm like, holy crap. And he's also got like a Ram 2500. You know, he's got his Trackhawk, he's got his Demon, then he buys this Viper. And then like 3 weeks later, he buys a Ferrari. He has all three of those cars for a few months. He sells his Demon. He sells the Ferrari. He sells his Viper. He buys another Demon. Then he buys another Viper. Then he buys a second Demon, well, which is actually his third Demon, but now he owns two of them at the same time. And he's just going on and on. I'm like, dude, what is your problem? Like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, man, it's just you buy them good and sell them good. So, I mean, if you can buy it at the right price, then you can get out of it unscathed, basically.
Yeah.
If you can sell it, you know, if you can buy it good, then you are able to sell it good, and you can get out from underneath it with losing. I mean, basically, with something like that, you know, what you're paying is, in a sense, kind of like a lease. You know, it's costing you every month to drive it, just like it would a lease, and you don't end up owning it, but you're not losing money on it. You know, it's just like renting a car. You know, you're paying for it each day you're using it, but you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose your down payment, or you're not going to end up negative on your loan or anything like that. Of course, obviously, it's going to cost you money to use it while you have it, but so he's got that shit down to a science. I don't know how he does it, but I mean, he had that Ferrari for like 3 weeks and turned it around and sold it, and didn't even blink an eye at it. And it's not like he's just pissing away 20 grand, 30 grand every time he does this.
Oh yeah.
Because you'd be broke within 6 months. So there is ways to get in and out of them to where you're literally only dealing with the cost of ownership while you own it. So I don't have it fine tuned to that by any means, but it can be done for sure.
Yep. I got lucky on it with this dealership here because the cost that I'm paying for the Redeye, if I turn around and sell it in a year, I'm going to get 95 to 98% of what I paid for it. I'm not going to lose much. I might lose maybe 3,000 or 4,000 over the course of a year or two. Maybe not even that much. It depends. And they promised that they're going to sell me all my vehicles at the same percentage rate of this one. So if the Hellcat Durango comes out, then I'm going to MSRP it, and then I'm going to get my discount. So for all the next sets of mopars that I buy over the next couple of years, I'm going to go, like you said, unscathed right through. I'm not going to lose any money, so it's going to be great for the channel. Now I just got to find me a nice Ford and GM dealership and lock that in. And it's difficult, but I'll talk to you about it outside of the videos. But if you can work a nice deal with the dealership where you're hitting them with a lot of exposure, like I've hit Manahawkin with a lot of exposure. I mean, I did 2 videos talking about them. So you figure I put them in front of 15, 16,000 eyes over the past couple of weeks. And they sold a Challenger a couple of weeks ago because of me. So right there, they've probably made 8 grand. So what they lost on me, they've already made back. So I'm already a paid investment for them. So I do reviews there. So over the course of the next year or two, there's going to be a lot of content with them. So it works for a YouTuber. It works, and I'll send you information on that if you want on what I do. And then I don't have it fine tuned, but it's starting to work pretty well. And I'll send you that information if you want. So
thank you.
It's that's what we do. We bring content. I'm just hoping when I get this Redeye, which is probably going to be sometime middle of December. It's in build status D right now, which they say means the parts are available. Dealers got allocation. It's getting ready to hit the line. I called Dodge, or chatted with them actually, and they said within 20 days of D status, 20 days puts it at the 26th or 27th. So they said this week by Friday, this week it should start D1. And once it does that, I'm 14 days from setting up the delivery. So I would expect that by December 10th, I should be built and on the way here. So fingers crossed for a good Christmas delivery of the Redeye, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, there's a website I can send you after this where you can get on, and it's actually there's a way that they can track your vehicle as it's being built through every status, and then even tell you when it leaves the factory, when it goes onto the truck, when it's out for delivery, and where it's at in the country from the time it leaves the plant. So I will send you that in an email afterwards.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Thanks, man. I've just been sitting here waiting for it, because if my car is not built by December 15th, I think on the 16th or the 17th, they shut the plant down till January 2nd.
Yep.
So if I don't get it by the 15th or 16th or close to that time, it's going to be the first or second week of January before they deliver it. So I'm pretty pumped, and hopefully I'll get it before Christmas.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we should definitely link up sometime, man. I don't know if you want. I don't know how far Chicago is from you, but I thought Chicago was like 7 hours or 6 hours or something like that.
It's about 9 hours, 10 hours, depending on what part of Chicago.
How do you feel about setting up something with Tall Guy Car Reviews and yourself and me when I go to GTOS? We all link up at GTOS if the weather's not bad.
I don't know how far he lives from Chicago.
4 hours.
Is it? That's not bad.
So
yeah, I don't know. At this point, I don't even know when I'm going to have a car for sure yet. So I guess it all depends on when I even get my car back.
Yeah, because if you do, can you imagine how awesome that'd be to come up there with your Demon and get Redeye content? It'd be me and you and Tall Guy and Paul at Family Cruise, and we'd be the only guys at Redeye content like that.
Yeah.
And you could review it, take it for a drive. I could get your reaction to it. I could drive in your Demon. Paul and Tall Guy both be there. us collabing there that'd be really good for all of us. And plus it's centered around the Redeye, which is a really good video.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So I'll keep you tuned on that. As you can hear, my son, I'm going over to him right now. It's his first birthday today.
Oh, yeah.
Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on. There you go.
He's got the little mohawk.
Oh, yeah. Say hi, buddy. He's got a little bit of a cold, and he sees me, and when he sees me, he wants me to hold him. So it's his first birthday today.
Look at that.
Say hi.
Hey, buddy.
I have another kid too. He's a 3-year-old, and I've had him in some of my videos. He's a diehard car fan. My son loves my truck and my car, and this one here is just starting to get used to it. All he wants to do is eat.
Yeah, eat and poop.
Eat and poop. And you can see he's got chocolate all over his shirt because he fell asleep after eating cake. So I was like, we'll do the live stream right after his birthday celebration. He had a bunch of chocolate cakes. So, yep.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You got kids, Todd, or no?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How old are your little ones?
11 and 7.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind, 3 and 1, but you know, there's certain things that are better about a 1-year-old than a 3-year-old. Like he's easier because I can put him in spots and he won't run off too easily.
He can't escape.
Yeah, he can't escape. If I put him on the ground freely, he'll run away because he's really quick. But I can put him in a a shopping cart, not going anywhere. The 3-year-old climbs out of the shopping cart. If I blink, he's gone. And it's really crazy because being a parent now, I look back, I would have never known this, but a lot of people say, hey, kids are loud, obnoxious, it's annoying, gives you a headache. If your kids are loud and screaming, you're doing well, because the moment there's silence in your house, there's a serious problem.
Yeah.
You don't want to have kids and it be quiet, because if you got kids and they're up and it's quiet, you better get your butt looking for them because the house is about to burn down.
Yeah, exactly. They're up to no good.
Yeah, it's always like that. But this is the reason I do YouTube. My love of cars, and to be able to maybe have a good income one day to take care of the little ones.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and turn him into a automotive lover.
Yeah, there you go. Put some wrenches in his hand and some keys. And
yep. You going to go in the garage and get some work done? Can you go change my oil for me in the Hellcat?
He said, nah, put me to
No,
bed.
no oil change. My 3-year-old knows what a Hellcat is, though. He goes outside, he goes, Dad, I want the Hellcat. I'm like, really? He's like, no, the truck. I'm like, so which one's it going to be, the truck or the Hellcat? And he'll just go back and forth, and then he'll finally say big truck. Like, he's like in love with the truck, though.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 car boys on my hands. There's going to be 2.
You better start saving now for that insurance.
That insurance, yeah, because their first car is going to be one of my high-end performance cars or whatever. They're going to have something cool. Right, buddy? Right, buddy?
Well, I better hop off here and deal with my kiddos myself, man. But,
yeah. Tell Miss Mush I said what's up.
I will.
And it was great having you. And, yeah, if you ever have a live stream or you're ever bored and you want to do a live stream, or if you got something planned, you want some extra content, definitely hit me up. Would love to, do more live content with you. When I've got lives, I'll let you know ahead of time. And, this way we can have more content for our channels. I'm always down. It doesn't matter. If you text me and say, hey, I'm going live in an hour, you want to go? I'm down, man. Most of the time I'll just go.
Heck yeah, man. Sounds awesome. You'll have to teach me how to do it, because I've never done one except for directly from my phone one time.
Okay.
But so yeah, but yeah, it was definitely fun talking about all that stuff for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's pretty easy. But I'll definitely I'll make a little video for you sometime tonight and just text it to you. Just watch it whenever you have a chance.
All right.
It's very, very easy stuff, and I think you'll love it. And there's even a way that you can take a camera like this, which is a DSLR. This is my Canon 5D Mark IV. You can actually run that in an HDMI line out to your computer and broadcast live high def.
Really?
So, yeah, and I'll do a video on how to do all that for you and send it to you.
That'd be pretty sick.
And then I'll keep you posted on the Redeye and, what I'm doing in Chicago. Maybe we could all link up at some point. If not, maybe we'll do something in the spring. But I definitely want to do some videos with you because I think we could have a ton of fun. We're both mopar guys at heart. So
yeah, for sure, man.
Awesome.
Definitely.
It was great having you, buddy.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, go subscribe to Mush's channel and share his channel as well, because I tell you what, he needs a lot of support, guys. The Demon is getting ready to come back. It's been injured, and he's footed a huge bill to bring that demon back, guys. So definitely go watch the ads.
Don't skip no ads.
Yeah, don't be skipping no ads. He just spent a ton of money bringing the demon back for you guys. Definitely go watch, support his channel. Mush is a good guy. I've met him multiple times, hung out with him. Good guy, good content. Go subscribe, share, watch, subscribe, guys. Definitely.
Adios, man.
All right, see you, buddy.
See
I'll
you
keep in touch. Take care, and go have fun.
All right, you too, man.
All right, take care. See you guys. We'll see you on the next live stream. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. I got some good content coming in the next few days. And when that content comes, definitely watch the whole video, like, comment, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Also, my brother's here. This Can't Be Happening. He just got back from the gym. Yeah. And definitely check his channel out. This Can't Be Happening. He's right there.
Oh, who are these people in here? Ah.
He's got a new series coming on his channel. It's going to be called Negative Car Reviews, or pointless, useless car reviews. He's got that stuff coming. So, yeah, share the channel, guys. Redeye is on its way. But until the next video, thank you so much to everybody in here for watching and supporting the channel. Take care. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you on the next video.